Hello everyone, my name is Tara and this is the channel DALIM. In this video we are going to talk about the Reflector aura type. This is one of the 5 human design aura types which I discussed in this whole aura type series. If you like to have all this information of this video in a linear, organized way, I highly recommend I created ebooks for every aura type, and the one for the reflectors for sure is in the video description. Download it and use this as a resource for you. And I would say, without any further ado, let's dive right into the content. So, as you might already know, the reflector is the rarest, most rare aura type. Around 1% of the human population actually belong to this aura type. So if you're a reflector, congratulations. You are indeed very special. And this is because you have no centers defined, or in other words, all your centers are open or undefined. What does that mean? So normally, I already used that word. We may come back to this word a few times in this video, but like most people, actually really most people, have at least one time in their chart where they have 2 gates activated, which are like in front of each other. And when this happens, those 2 gates build a so-called full channel, and this full channel makes that the 2 centers in which the gates are located, that those 2 are defined. And this occasion, this situation where those 2 gates are in front of each other being activated, this happens not one time in your chart. Therefore, you are completely open and undefined. And I feel, before we can get into the strategy and the signature and the non-self theme, we must understand what does it mean to be that open and undefined. So first of all, we need to distinguish between defined and undefined and open. Defined, as I already said, comes with those 2 gates and the channel. But what does it mean to have a defined center? A defined center is, I would say, more of a masculine energy. So it is a place where you can give energy because you have a constant access to this type of energy. It's really that you have that in stock. You can give it, you can share it with other people, you can put it outwards. You are constantly aware of this energy, and therefore you really know how this, for example, the emotional solar plexus it is an awareness center. So in the emotional solar plexus over here, we have the awareness over our emotions. And if you are defined there, you really know how you feel. Like, not only how you feel, but the way of processing feelings it is really constant. It's like always the same since you were born. So really, you really know your energy in there, because of being defined there, right? And so if you have, for example, a defined ajna center, you tend to be more stubborn about your opinion. If you have a defined head center, you tend to have like more this mental pressure of figuring things out. And if you have this defined root center, you're always in this pressure to get things done. So there's really the energy in those centers are really more fixed, if you understand what I mean. And on the other hand, we have the undefined and the open center. So there's a little difference between those two, because an undefined center will have at least 1 gate activated in it, and an open center really has no gates activated at all. So this is the difference, but overall they show up kind of the same, because you have you have this openness there. It's more this feminine quality of receiving and being the room, being really the place in which the energy takes place. So for example, when we take the example with the emotional solar plexus, when a person with a completely open solar plexus and a defined solar plexus, when they come together, basically what happens, the energy of this defined center will immediately take place in the open center of the other person. And this person can not only experience those energies, that person can actually amplify those. So being open means being really able to see, because when something is happening inside of yourself, you know it, right? And there is a difference between understanding feelings and really feeling the feelings of other people. And so you have this ability to see really clearly. This is really one thing. And the other thing is, like, normally with those other aura types people, they will at least have some centers which are defined. Therefore, they have this, like, for example, when we say a mental projector, they will have their ajna defined, and therefore they will have one sense of constant energy. So they really rely on that. But as you have this openness everywhere, you won't be tripped so much about those changes. I can only imagine, like, honestly, I can only imagine how it feels to be a reflective, because I have 7 centers defined, so I'm basically kind of the opposite of a reflector, but my open ajna helps me to kind of understand how this could work. And if you're a reflector, I would be so grateful if you write a comment how your experience is with that. But I assume that if you're, like, since you're born, you're a reflector, therefore you don't know anything else than this changing energy, right? And therefore it might not feel like so stressful as I imagined it to be in the beginning, when I'm honest, because I perceive my open ajna as really, like, flowy, and there are so many different things coming in and out, and I can land perspectives. I can, like, this is really the energy of this openness. But this is just so so difficult for me, because the rest of my energy is really fixed in that way. So I can imagine if, like, you're used to it, you can utilize it way better than I used to use my ajna in the beginning. So the beautiful gift that lays in the reflector is that you can be somebody else literally every day. And this is, like, your sense of identity, your being is not tied to any of those material, personality, freely worldly things, because it's always changing. And this is, like, you're like a shapeshifter in such a beautiful superhero way. I can just see that one day you may be like a full reflector or projector with only 2 centers defined, and you feel like, okay, I can't do anything. This can happen. But on the other day, maybe you're a manifesting generator because of the energy, and then you get to experience that drive and that full on speed, yeah. And I really think that this is so unique, this is so special, and you can utilize it. And I think maybe when I talk about that, maybe there's something in you that resonates already and can see how this took place in your life in the past. So we will move on to your strategy now. So your strategy is basically the go-to move to face every situation. And what I just said about like I hope you know, like we have always transits going on, so we are always in neutrino weather. The transits are basically the constellation of the planets and the stars, and they are forming an energetical weather, a cosmic weather, and we are influenced by that, and you especially are really influenced by that. And therefore, I highly recommend to study human design, study astrology, and to get really into the in the energy of understanding how those archetypes like the zodiac works, because, or understand how the centers work, or understand different gates, because you can, if you have a little background knowledge, you can like look at any website, check the transits, how the constellation and the stars are standing right now, and then you can see, oh wow, okay, we have, for example, the moon is in Capricorn, and Capricorn is a really like a lot of gates in the root center, which deals with pressure, with ambition, with drive, are actually Capricorn gates. So this energy is really this earthy, I want to achieve something. And if you on that day feel the physical urge to submit for, to apply for a marathon, you can you can double check if this is a really good idea for you by looking at the transits. Because it might be that when the moon moves out of Capricorn, you are not that motivated anymore. You don't have access to this energy anymore, and therefore, like 3 weeks later, you would be like, "Oh my God, why did I sign up for a marathon?" Right? And so this really helps to connect your experience, your feelings, how your life is going, how your mental state, how everything is going with the transits. And with some practice, like you can just get yourself a beautiful journal that you use only for that, and I guarantee you after a few weeks or months you will get a feeling, and you can really kind of predict how you will feel. Like, for example, when you know, okay, there you want to, for example, so if you plan an important date, you can look at the transits and see which dates, like which constellations feel good for you, will support you in that on that day, right? And to also really understand what is your like, because, okay, side note, there are a lot of information on the internet about astrology and human design as well, and it might not all resonate with you. So I want to emphasize here that the important thing is that you get your relationship to the moon, that you get your relationship to Capricorn, and that you know how this energy affects you and not in general. So to make this point, like your strategy is to wait a lunar cycle. And this actually means what I just said with many words, that you get really on track with the transits. And for example, when you have a big decision, that you give yourself time. The best thing would be like a month, because a month is like a whole lunaric circle, because the moon has really a strong influence on us. It is really close, it moves the seas, especially if you're a woman, we are really connected to the energy of the moon. So what that means is, when you, let's say we have day one, you have to make a decision and you have actually 1 month time for it. Then you just observe. You just observe how you feel about this decision over the days. Talk with people, watch the transits, and really see how your opinions, your feelings, your thoughts, your being on this decision changes. And yeah, after 1 month, you will have experienced a variety of possible relationships to that thing, and you have this experience what felt good, what didn't feel good, and now you have the knowledge to make a decision for yourself. I highly recommend to make decisions on your own, really being out of the space of other people, because whenever you are together with one other person, you will experience their whole human design chart. And you might know that that feeling when you are with somebody and you're really in tune with them, you really have different energies, you can actually feel that, and then you move away from them, and then you are just you again, and you may you aren't in the influence of that person anymore. With that said, I want to emphasize here that clearing can be so helpful, so important for you, because when we take that example, when you were with a person and then you come back home, and sometimes we carry energy with us and we think that other people's energy is our energy, and when that happens, it just sits in us, it circulates in us, and it needs to be let go. So I highly recommend shaking and dancing, or like using scents, or whatever makes you feel that you can let go of the energy of other people, so that you can be you again. Yeah, I hope this was clear. I want to sum up the strategy for the reflector at this point. So we have the strategy that is wait a lunar cycle, which means to track the transits and observe your reaction, and mind that you are this open, fluid person that really can move the energy and from other people, the world, society, God, the universe, from everything. And you really need to make room and space for yourself to make decisions on your own and clear yourself, clear your space, clear your centers after you've been with other people. Now let's move on to your signature and your non-self theme. The signature and the non-self theme are two beautiful signs that we got installed in our system. So the signature is basically your green light. This is the light that goes on when you're on the right path and you're doing the right things. And with that feeling, you can know, like, okay, everything is going on the right direction. And then we have the red light, which is the non-self theme. And this is basically a sign that says, uh-oh, take care. You are not on the right way. You took a way, like you decided for a way that wasn't for your highest good. Maybe we should rearrange, we should reflect, and we should make new decisions, go into other directions. So we will look at the non-self theme first. Your non-self theme is disappointment. And this disappointment is when you put expectations on yourself, onto other people, onto the world, and then reality happens. Something turns out a way that you really didn't want to have. And this disappointment really, it makes me sad when I think about it. It is really that hopelessness in a way that comes after the disappointment. It is like there's no point in trying at all, because I know you love humanity and our world, the earth, and you want to believe in good and in hope. But when this hope gets scattered, it's really this disappointment that arises. And this is similar to like when we imagine a person disappoints us. this is really this, what happens after that is this lack of trust. And this, I won't do it anymore because I can trust that this will work out. And if you fear this disappointment, it does not mean that there is actually no hope. It doesn't mean that, like, those thoughts that I said before, those like, oh, there's no point, that they are right. That is not what disappointment is saying. Disappointment is only saying to you, girl or boy, dude, you are not on the right way. This is not your path to go. You are, in that sense, not welcome here because this is not your way. Your beautiful, blossom, nourished, abundant, beautiful, universal love way is over here. This is all what disappointment is trying to tell you. So don't, you need to distinguish that, because this disappointment is actually a neutral sign. It's so good that we have our non-self themes because they make it so easy for us to realign. Like, it can happen like 10 times a day that I feel frustrated with something that is my non-self theme, and I'm okay, I'm done here. I'm going to another task. I'm looking for my signature now. This can happen all the time. It's just a feedback that we can get to realign. And the easiest thing to realign is to look after our signature, our green lamp. And your signature is surprise. It is surprise. And this surprise is really that when you didn't have any expectations, when you were open to the situation, when you were open to all experience, not only the good ones, to all experience, because we need all of them to learn and grow. And you're open, and then there is this excitement, there's this curiosity, what is new, what is there, and then you have this surprise! Life is beautiful! Even if it did turn out the way you thought in the first place, it is still beautiful, and that is the huge surprise that you get when you have no expectations. So whenever you feel disappointed, you can switch into this surprise mode, because you can only be surprised if you're open and if you have no expectations. So we can leave that behind us and switch to, okay, what can I do? How can I pursue surprise? What can I do to be surprised by life and be open to the miracles? Because actually life is a miracle, and there are miracles happening all the time. We just need to see them, and in order to see them we need to be open to them. That was the signature and the non-self theme. And in the end, I really want to thank you, reflectors. I want to thank you because of you being you, you are actually transforming Earth. What do I mean by that? I mean that because of this openness, you are literally the mirror of our world. And if you had like anxiety, depression, burnout, like whatever illness, mental illness, physical illness you have experienced, this is actually the illness of our world being displayed in you. And this is so, you do such an important job for our world that you experience that for us. And I am honestly sorry that we as a society, that we as people haven't been able to rise to a frequency yet. Not yet, but we will. What we haven't rise to a frequency yet where only light and joy and growth and abundance and friendship and love is being displayed in you. And I figure that you see us better than we see ourselves, and we need to listen to you. You can tell us what is important and what is not. You can tell us where we have blind spots, where we have to take a look, what our world really needs. You know it. You know it because the truth lies in you. And yeah, I really encourage you to step forward. We're waiting for you. And I'm grateful for you. And I really hope you enjoyed that video. Yeah, I sent you a lot of love. And if you like, take me on your journey and write down a comment how you experience your being as a reflector, and give this video a thumbs up if you like it. And if you don't want to miss any videos in the future, you can subscribe as well. So thank you so much for listening. I wish you a beautiful day or night, and yeah, love you all. Bye.